Hi, my name's Phil. I like talking about politics, and in this video I'd like to discuss how Nigel Farage was rumbled about, well, thousands of dollars worth of free training he received from a fascist boot camp by the looks of it, and only came to light because the American providers of this free training were forced to go public with the information by their own government. Nigel Farage did not declare these gifts in this country, and we would have been none the wiser without the declaration at the other end. And as these gifts were in the form of political training from foreign sources, it's exactly the sort of things MPs are absolutely required to declare. So why did Nigel Farage deliberately conceal these freebies, and what will he do now that he has been found out? But first, for daily political commentary, please click the subscribe button so you don't miss out. So when Nigel Farage submitted his first declaration of financial interest as an MP, he had no problem listing the tens of thousands of pounds worth of free hospitality that he enjoyed for his American visit, where he unsuccessfully tried to get a photo opportunity with the orange one in the wake of his first assassination attempt. But it has now transpired that there was even more funding of his activities in America, which he did not declare. It included what's described as perception management training by a group of American advisors connected to Steve Bannon. Now, we know that Farage and the currently incarcerated Bannon have collaborations going way back, really. We know that Bannon is part of a network of groups who seek to encourage far-right politics in not only the United States, but other Western countries as well. Remember, he got kicked out of that place in Italy. He has tried with limited success to influence politics all over Europe. His clearest success being the role in Brexit, of course. It also means that Farage was not entirely truthful about his reasons for going to America. See, he claimed he went there to support his good friend Donald Trump, who for some unexplained reason, I can't think why, didn't actually want to meet him. He went twice. He visited America twice to try and get his photo op with dear old Donald. Dear old Donald didn't want to see him. And he also said he was there to put Clacton on the map. He neglected to mention that he was also there for training at fascist boot camp. Now, if any MP receives training which is gifted to them on promoting political ideologies, we should know about it. You know, when that training is carried out and paid for by foreign nationals, we should definitely know about it. In fact, of all the reasons that we have declarations by MPs, pretty much top of the list would be so that we can see if there's foreign influence on our politics and our politicians. And there are a couple of issues here, I suppose, for some people. The first would be Nigel Farage getting this training at all, given that he didn't pay for it. Now, that's not automatically a bad thing. International cooperation between like-minded political organisations exists. It's not just the far right. In fact, Labour have sent 100 of their staff to America to help the Democrats in the presidential election campaign. Something that Republicans are apparently not happy about. I'm not really sure why. I mean, they could always ask the Tories to see if they will donate some of their staff for them. But I'm not sure they would want that. I mean, who would want the people who organised the shit show that was the Tory election campaign this year? But also, Trump doesn't listen to his party's strategists anyway. So, you know, sending people wouldn't make any difference anyway. But the point is that there is nothing automatically wrong with international collaboration with politically like-minded people and groups. I suppose we would prefer it if our MPs were not trained by magaloons. But, you know, different people have different views on that. But I think the main issue is that Nigel Farage concealed the information. We only know about it because the organisation providing the freebies, Capital HQ apparently, had to declare it because US law required it, given that Nigel Farage is, from their point of view, a foreign agent. Had the law been different in the US, they wouldn't have declared it. We'd have never known about it. Farage was challenged about this omission from his declaration and, well, his spokesperson, because he wasn't about somehow. His spokesperson said, oh, it's because he was a politician, not an accountant. Which, like everything else he says, is a bullshit response. If you're not an accountant, you should actually be putting everything down your declarations. Accountants effectively exist to make sure you don't put more down than you need. Oh, you don't need to declare that. Don't worry about that. If Farage is saying he didn't consult an expert about his financial interest document, the default should have been he put everything down. No other MP gets away with pleading ignorance when they conceal something, and neither should Farage. But what's interesting is why he concealed it. He cannot claim, for example, that he didn't think it would apply. The rules on financial interests are really clear. I strongly suspect that the free training and hospitality is not illegal, by the way, or against any parliamentary rules. He just needed to declare it. I mean, well, I suppose we'll soon find out, because we do now know about it. So if he has broken any rules beyond not declaring it, we will see action. But I strongly suspect not, which can only mean that Farage concealed the freebies, not because it was against the rules, but because he didn't think it was a good look to be accepting them to his supporters. Now, perhaps it was just that he was receiving free political training in America when he should have been attending to his constituents in Clacton. Maybe he just thinks it looks bad to be working with any group that has these close links with Steve Bannon. I don't think Farage is particularly bothered about either of those. He made no secret of receiving an absolute fortune in free funding for his trips to America. I mean, what was it? He put down something like £32,000 worth of hospitality in America. It doesn't cost £32,000 to travel to the United States for a photo opportunity with Donald Trump, which he didn't get anyway. Whoa, how did it cost £32,000? But he put that down. He had no problem with that. He didn't try to conceal that. So one way of looking at this is that Farage has received free training so that he can spend more time away from his constituency in Westminster, because what this training, according to reports, is actually for, it's to help him with speaking engagements, which this group also are helping to organise to further their political aims, including in the US. And we know that he's carried out speaking engagements in the United States since becoming an MP. So yeah, you could look at this as maybe one of the reasons he wants to conceal it is because he wasn't just being paid for something he was doing in America for like a few days or a couple of weeks, but it's longer term than that. He was receiving training so that he can do more things outside of his duties as an MP in order to make more money on the international speech circuit. And is that what he's trying to hide? That rather than scaling back his previous career, you know, to make more time to do his job as an MP, what he's actually doing, or trying to do, is boost the amount of extra parliamentary work he has. I mean, I would say that would mean he'd have even less time for being an MP, but it's clear that so far he only turns up to either Clacton or Parliament for photo opportunities anyway, otherwise he just doesn't bother. And it's another case of rank hypocrisy as well. Farage was more than happy to bash Starmer over so-called gifts, even though a lot of the gifts that had been labelled as gifts were actually not. They were political donations for the general election campaign. Yet here he was taking who knows how many thousands of pounds worth of free political training, which does have a material impact on his work as an MP, apart from the fact, you know, he's going to be... It's training so that he can do more things that are going to take away time from being an MP. So, of course, it has a material impact on his job as an MP. And unlike Starmer, who declared absolutely everything, including some things he did not technically need to, because he didn't want the press saying, oh, you didn't declare this thing, Farage deliberately concealed his much dodgier freebies. So, given that he clearly didn't want people to know about it, and now they do, what's he going to do about it? Obviously, he will downplay it. He will say, oh, they're making a fuss and blah, blah, blah. Any excuse to bash poor old Nigel. But there must have been some reason he tried to conceal it. How he responds to the scrutiny might be interesting. That is assuming that there is any sustained level of scrutiny over this, that is. But there we are. Those are my thoughts. Let me know yours in the comments below. If you enjoyed the video, please click the like button and subscribe. And if you'd like to support the channel further, you can join for memberships. Thanks for watching, and until next time, I'll see you later.